Now, many of you, or most of you by now, you know that analysts were expecting or had an expectation that we are going to see the CPI, or the inflation, or US inflation, coming at 6.5%, which, ladies and gents, today we got to see it do just that. It means that analysts were sort of like spot on the 6.5, which they had, of course, predicted. Now the confusion, or something that I'm really looking or observing in the streets of social media, it looks like most of the retail investors don't know if whether this is bullish or bearish. Otherwise, before we forget the house rules, you already know that this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video. Now, I really appreciate if you can just hit that like button, as it takes some time for me to compile or to do a video like this. So I really appreciate if you can just give a thumbs up onto this video. But of course, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing, as on this channel we talk anything that, of course, has an impact in the stock market. So as long as it is having an impact, or it can bring some impact in the stock market, like the CPI figures or inflation, we are definitely going to discuss it on this channel. So if you are into the stock market or investing in the stock market, then maybe probably it is the good choice that maybe you consider hitting that subscribe button and click that notification bell, so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. So yes, today we received the CPI numbers, which, ladies and gents, came at exactly what analysts expected, and that is at 6.5. Now, some people might be asking themselves, is this good or bad? Well, to me, I personally think that it is good, because number one, we are seeing a deflation, or we are seeing inflation going down, which is something that is obviously incredible to see, or something that is good to watch, because then it means that the high inflation era that maybe probably we saw it, especially in July of last year, you'll know that inflation peaked at 9.1%, which, having to say that ever since then it has been sort of like going down. It is a good thing, or a positive thing, to say that we might get to continue seeing inflation in the US going down or dropping, which is something that is obviously good. So I probably think that this number should be sort of like, in a way, bullish, because then we are seeing inflation coming down. It is not like we saw the results coming out way more than what analysts expect, which would be, in that case, a bearish situation. But rather, we are seeing, of course, coming it at the exact same figure that analysts expected. So this, to me, it is sort of like bullish, as I'm saying that it just shows that inflation continues to drop, inflation continues decreasing in the US, which is a positive thing in the market. I mean, the markets this week, it has been performing quite good. I mean, we are seeing so many of the stocks, or US stocks, recovering, and many people were expecting that obviously today we might get, or most people were expecting that we might get inflation coming out being worse than what analysts expected, and they were thinking that probably the markets will crash, which obviously, since it came in at exact figure analysts predicted, then we might get to continue seeing the rally continuing. I mean, yesterday the Nasdaq S&P 500 finished up over 1%, whereas of course the Dow Jones finished up over 0.8%, which is something that obviously really is exciting, of course, investors, especially seeing that, of course, it looks like the markets is recovering. So personally, I would like to believe that we might see, or we might continue getting to see the markets recovering, whilst we wait for interest rates decision, or interest rates decision by the Federal Reserve, which will be coming very soon, which obviously a lot of people, some are saying it might be a 25 basis point, some are saying a 50 basis point, which, based on this, I personally think that we might see a 25 basis point interest rate hike. So this is something that obviously will, if we are to get that, it might be a bullish thing, or it might be a sort of like a bullish situation into the markets, or it might bring a bullish sentiment to the markets, where we'll continue seeing maybe the markets recovering. But if we are to get, I think, 50 basis point or even 75 basis point, then that might be, or that might bring a bearish scenario into the markets, which obviously, yeah, a lot of people are maybe hoping that it doesn't get to be like that. So I personally believe that these figures, though they are not, or they came out either not above or below what analysts projected, it is, or I consider them to be good results, because the bottom line is that inflation is dropping, or inflation is decreasing in the US, which is something that is always good to see, because this was, or this is a serious concern. Inflation or cost of living is a serious concern, not just in the US but worldwide, and countries are trying their best, increasing interest rates, trying to curb or bring down this inflation. It looks like in the US it is working, which is why we are seeing, of course, inflation or CPI figures continuing to drop. So I personally believe that if we get to continue seeing these figures dropping, then, ladies and gents, it will definitely be good news to the markets, and those of you that continue loading the boat, increasing their holdings on your favorite stocks, are definitely going to be rewarded. In fact, there are some analysts that are expecting, obviously, or that have made predictions of saying that we might get to see the markets recovering by 20%, but there are also others who are saying that the markets might drop another 20%. So we don't know what the market will finish the year looking like, but we just hope for the best. We don't know if there will be a recession in 2023, but we can just hope for the best and continue adding wherever we can on our top favorite stocks that we own, or stocks, or add more stocks in our portfolios that we've wanted to always own or buy. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I should just give you these quick updates. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And like I always say, it is good that before you add a stock into your portfolio, add or increase holdings into the stocks that you own, you do your own due diligence, so that at least you can be comfortable when you are investing in the stock market. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I will see you in my next video, and God bless you all.